Listen, going back, if anybody heard of Alex Amosi's story about sleeping in his gym, that was me.
How hard was that?
It was horrendously hard. Nothing's easy, right? Like nothing's gonna happen overnight. Nobody makes money easily.
Why leave the gym business and move into marketing?
Feel very tied down. You know, in the military, I was flying to Bosnia, Kosovo, Iraq, Afghanistan. I was always on the move. I feel like here, since I've had the business, I feel like it's sitting on my shoulders and it's pushing me down. My goal from this agency was to get to 6 figures.
What's up, guys? Today we are joined by Jay. Jay is the owner of On Brand Marketing. He's a member of the Academy as well, and he's absolutely smashing it at the moment. He's managed to scale his agency to over 10K a month in just 5 months. And I want to unravel that all today. So Jay, thanks for jumping on, man. It's good to have you. And could you start off by building a bit of context of what's brought you up to this point? What inspired you to start an agency? Because I know you own a gym business as well, don't you? Okay, quickly, before we get into this video, I've got an announcement to make. If you're making more than $10,000 a month in your agency right now, or you're around that level and you want to get to 100K a month in the fastest and most logical way possible, regardless of your niche, your product, or your service, this applies to you. I'm hosting a live virtual event on Wednesday, the 22nd of May and Thursday, the 23rd. This is genuinely live and not some recording built to trick you. We'll be able to interact and go through this live with you. It's a one-time event. There are no replays whatsoever, so you need to sign up and show up if you want to be able to install the data-driven scaling system that I've used to scale my agency, Affluent.co, to multi-7 figures. This is information I have never revealed online before. I told it to a select group of people who have already scaled their agencies to multi-7 figures, and I'm going to go through that on the workshop. Now, if you're watching this right now, you're at or around 10K a month, click the link around here, maybe in the description, maybe in the comments, sign up and show up to action this information and get ahead of your competitors. Sign up predictable clients, retain those clients, remove yourself from the day-to-day operations and run a business like a real business owner, not some high-paid employee stuck in the weeds. And if you're watching this and the event is already over, then you missed out this time, but make sure you follow me on social media so you get notified if we run events like this in the future. But right now, we've got nothing in the calendar. So yeah, if you're watching it in time, awesome, congratulations. If you're below 10K, I'm sorry, this doesn't apply to you right now. For the rest of you, enjoy this video.
Yeah, so I was in the military for 10 years. When I got out of the military, it's very likely that people leave the military and go into the fitness route. So I had a couple of gyms, a couple of CrossFit gyms, and now I've had my own gym now for about 5 years, which I'm about to exit, which is quite exciting. So yeah, the reason why I came into marketing, obviously a lot of doing cold calls myself to leads that comes in through my own gym. And we're quite highly priced, so you have to become very good in terms of selling. And then we started working and looking very closely at the content that we were creating. And it started working very, very well when we started drawing down into the niche of who we were looking for. So like the ladies with that's menopausal, etc. And we really honed in on that. And then we created content, we advertised it, and we used an agency back then, did a very good job for us. And yeah, I just loved the calls. I loved the sales part of it. I enjoyed the sales part of it. Obviously, it was a very good place to be, where we were bringing somebody in that was overweight, that was mental health, wasn't in a good place, and we were able to flip them to be very healthy, very fit, very happy. And now with the agency, I feel like I do exactly the same, but a bit different. With talking to a business, like for example, we just signed up a sunglasses company from Scotland, where they're just selling sunglasses, and I could hear the story of the pain points that he's having, that he's not selling anything. He's trusted loads of different agencies before that hasn't delivered. He's come on board with us. He's starting to see a return on the ad spend that we're doing for him. And it's that going back to, we were helping people lose weight, and now we're helping people to develop their business. So it's kind of a cool place to be, and obviously really exciting because I'm 37 now. I left the army when I was 27. So I've had 10 years out of the military where I've always had my own business. I've never worked for anybody since I've been out. And now it's got to a really nice point of transitioning to helping people with their businesses, even though I've had 8 years of building people's mental health, physique, and all that kind of thing that comes with health and fitness.
It's really interesting coming straight out of the military and then jumping into business, because you could argue that those two things are, and it's interesting because Connor, our sales manager, is ex-military as well. But
Yeah.
my perspective would be that in the military, you're very used to being incredibly disciplined and in many ways being guided by an external force. Whereas entrepreneurship is kind of the antichrist of that, isn't it? It's complete expressive freedom. So what do you think it was that triggered you to want to jump into entrepreneurship outside of military? Like, why did you leave that and get into this? This seems quite polarizing.
Well, there's probably two sides to it. Obviously, I joined the army to grow in terms of the ranks in the military. So that in itself, you start building and building, building. And for me to be a sergeant in the army and then come out and to work for somebody else, it didn't make sense to me. I wanted to keep on thriving, even when and to be honest, I joined when I was 16 years old. So I was always told, "There's nothing else Civvy Street. There's nothing on Civvy Street." And the second thing is that, joining the army from 16, you become very resilient. And I think if you grasp everything that you've done in the military and then bring it into business, it becomes a very powerful, powerful tool. I could sit here and have 100 calls and not have no answers, and you've been there more than anybody else. So it's about building that resilience and using that resilience to your advantage. And obviously, we always go through life with experiences. Did tours of Afghanistan, seen some horrible things out there, and that can't be worse than 100 people not answering the phone, or maybe just closing 1 in 100. It's a win for me.
That's interesting, man. Yeah, it always boils down to resilience, doesn't it? Resilience is the thing that pushes us forward through anything, especially in a sales-driven business like this. I suppose, like you say, cold calling 100 companies and getting rejections is nothing to what you've faced. And I think many people really struggle with building that resilience. That's for the majority of people, they're jumping into an agency or a business and they get slapped in the face by rejection for the first time ever. And that is a very tough place to be. Like, what do you think it is? I suppose it's obvious for yourself what triggered that build of resilience. But what do you think it is in other people that allows them to kind of push past that point? Like, how do you foresee that other people can build resilience if they haven't been through the background of it being military, etc.?
I think that they're going to have to want it enough. I have like a quote that's on my wall: live like others won't, so you can live like others can't, right? So you're going to have to go through the first phase first. So you're going to have to go through shit to get to the good place.
It's exactly the same with what you've been doing in the gym, really, is building that resilience in other people as well. So
Yeah.
you started the gym business. That's obviously done pretty well. You've scaled that up, and now you're in a position where you're going to be exiting that business as well, which for context is selling the company, which is wicked. Why transition out of that? Why not continue growing that? Why not get multiple locations, franchise, whatever? Why leave the gym business and move into marketing?
It's a kind of thing where I've like I said, always used agency in the gym. We've gone through 3 or 4 different agencies, and every time they've built an ad, every time they've created something to post, I've always had a question about it. It's become a passion of mine, and I'm a complete weirdo. I literally sit on the tube. I look at posts. I look at posters on the tube. Yeah, I'm obsessed with like marketing and how things are seen or how things are listened to. So I think that, and I've been basically just putting it off for so long. And now that I'm transitioning to obviously out of the fitness industry, it's giving me that oomph to go, right, let's do this. But I've been quite fortunate. I have over 300 people. I live in Hampstead in London. I've got a very wealthy members that knows wealthy people. When I said that I was opening a marketing agency and we were going to focus on content creation and social media management, 7,000 overnight, 7 clients, £1,000 each. I had a guy that came to my gym and said, "Can I have a free membership here if I do the content?" And I said, "Oh, of course you can." So he started doing content for me. So then I said to Pete, "Pete, can you do some work for me for an agency that I'm going to open?" So then we moved on to that, and now I've just come on board. I've literally week 3 into the academy, and I'm like mind blown by the ads. So I've been on the ad manager. I've built ads, and now I've got 25 leads that came through And now I'm calling the leads, and I've got an electrician. And even before I signed the academy, I was watching you on YouTube. So I'm like, I'm back, like
Nice, man.
selling again, but obviously something completely different. And yeah, so I'm all about quality, making sure that we really deliver a very, very good service. And like I said to you prior, we've got somebody else coming on board now, so I can focus on the sales. I have my partner that does the social media management aspect of it, so she posts, and I've got Pete does the content. So it's coming along quite nicely. I just need to finish all the academy now, and yeah, just keep selling, if I'm honest.
Nice, man. It sounds to me like you've got that bug of building something from scratch again. That's the
Yeah.
that curse, isn't it? That you build something and it goes well, and you're like, right, what's next? What do I build next? It's
definitely
such a great feeling. So are you doing any cold outreach at all at the moment? Has everything been mainly referral, or have you started
not yet.
getting clients?
Not yet. This is a conversation that I had with with Santiago. I was going, listen, I have money to spend. I can advertise this. We've created a fantastic content for on-brand marketing agency already. Instead of me focus on an outreach, can I focus on my own ads? And if I get them wrong, it doesn't matter because I'm the one that's paying the price for it. So we've been building loads of ads, and I've been building them myself. And somebody that's owned a gym, that's paid an agency to do this for years, and for me to build my own, and I've got my own Go High Level, and I've got my own leads coming in there, and I've always had an agency where I in their Go High Level is just like mind blown. It's just like, wow, I did it. I built one good ad. So yeah, I built like 20 ads, and like 3 or 4 of them was performing really, really well. So nice. I've obviously watched your video on the academy.
These are for your agency. These ads are for your own agency.
Correct. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Very
yeah.
nice.
So basically, what I was doing, I was watching your video. Obviously, listen, military. I haven't got a lot of brains up here, so I was just watching your video on the academy, then pausing, and then just going to the ads, building it, coming back, building it, coming back, building it, coming back, and then watching it all over again and do it another. And before you know it, I woke up the next day with the 11 leads, and I was like, and we created a very, very good video content about us video, and it's doing amazingly well, which is giving me even more of a buzz now to going, right, I've got 2 calls tomorrow. One with a plumbing company, one with a restaurant, a Turkish restaurant in London. That's quite big, to be fair. Already at 110,000 followers. I'm like, wow. So yeah, I'm really excited, and I just want to push it now.
Love that. I want to dig into the agency and kind of where you're going to go and what the plan is. But just before we do, I think it's very easy for some people to watch this and think, oh, well, Jay's got an unfair advantage. Jay's coming from a position where he's got a bunch of referrals and he's built himself to a position, and that's unfair because I can't get myself to that point. But what they're overlooking in that is the fact that you've probably gone through a lot of shit and grafted quite hard to get to the point where you've even built up a network where people trust you enough to say, yeah, Jay's starting an agency, I'll work with him. Like, why wouldn't I work with him? Because you've built that trust off the back of the gym business and these clients that you're working with and the people that they know. And that is something that only comes over a long period of time. And so I'd love to know, before we dive into the agency, a little bit about like what it was like growing that business and how it was in those early stages. Did you start it from zero? Did you acquire a gym? What did that look like? And how hard was that?
It was horrendously hard. Listen, going back, if anybody heard of Alex Amosi's story about sleeping in his gym, that was me. So I didn't have time to drive home and get into bed because I'd be finishing at 9 o'clock, and I was living outside London then, so I was coming in and out. It was an hour and 15-minute commute, so I would have a sleeping bag in the gym. And in terms of signing people up, I didn't have a clue what I was doing when I was signing people up. I was literally asking people, what are you willing to pay? just to get them through the door. So, because I had so many no's at the beginning. No, you're too expensive. You're not too expensive. And yeah, it was very, very difficult. It took me in the first gym about 4 or 5 months to break even. And that was very, very difficult because I just had a baby. And I was not providing absolutely anything. And I was getting told go back to the army, go back to the army. You were doing really, really well in the army. And I was like, no, I'm on this path. So everybody was against me. Like everybody was against me. And before you know it, we had 250 members, making over 500,000 a year. It was a very, very nice place to be. But in terms of, and like you just said, unfair advantage, I believe that I do have, but it doesn't mean that I haven't gone through that pain of cold outreach. I could show you our gym right now. We had 77 leads come in over the weekend, and I've already rang them all day today. I've got through to 2 people, so as much as is my, selling. So yeah, I just believe if obviously follow your academy and follow the way that you've done it, then, and if you followed the way I built my gym, then I'm sure it'd be successful. But you're still not going to get away from the really bad times. Well, I would say bad times then, but I would say there was good times now, because you can always look back at it. And I have a friend that's got a huge recruitment company, and I always lean on him, and he's always like, listen, if it was easy, you wouldn't think it was successful. You want it to be difficult. You want them calls to be difficult. You want to be challenged. Otherwise, it's not worth it. And I think it's just a case of getting your head down, and just keep moving forward.
It's unavoidable. You have to go through that gritty period where it's all a little bit shit, and it feels like that at the time. But like you say, like when I look back on all those, like even just like the first sales jobs and struggling in sales and just being useless and then being in debt, like I look back on it now with the most beautiful hindsight. It's just like that was a really great time of my life, because there was so much growth there. And actually kind of the further and further you go along, it's harder to get that same level of polarizing growth as you used to have, until you start craving it. You're like, oh, it's like yourself running those ads. You're like, yeah, this is awesome. These are my own ads. Yeah. I'm generating leads. This is incredible, because you're getting a little taste for that growth that you had in those early stages. And for anyone watching this, you have to go through that in order to be able to build a successful agency. And yeah, sure, Jay, you've done this, hit the 10K point in only a few months. Great. But it's taken years to earn the privilege to be able to do that. And many people are yet to earn that place in society. They're yet to earn and build that resilience up within them that allows them to push forward and go through all of that. So I love it, man. That's awesome. So right now you're running the ads, you're planning on, you're scaling up, you're taking on someone on the service delivery side. You're, by the sounds of things, working with a bunch of different niches. Was there a reason why in the initial stages you didn't just go for gyms straight away? I know I personally recommend doing a bit of a kind of scattergun in initially as well. But did you consider just going in with gyms and using that as well? Or yeah, what was the thought process there?
It goes back to exactly where I was in the beginning. Now, I'm not going to lie. When I first had an agency and I had calls, I would be constantly going back to the agency. I've got shit leads. I've got shit leads. I haven't got quality leads. It was me that was shit. I didn't know what I was doing, and that you see a lot of that in the fitness industry. They want to focus on service delivery, but they don't, like, fitness is the worst one for it. It's they leave the leads to the end where it should be at the front. And to be working with fitness business, I feel like I would be too much involved in their growth. And then, I'm military background. We have we grew strong bonds in the military, and I feel like if I was to join a gym owner, I feel like I would have a strong bond to focus too much on their business to get them where they need to be, instead of me just delivering what I should be delivering. So I feel like, like I said to you, when we launched and we moved on to content creation, we had a dog grooming business that we were doing content for. We had the Cheese Wheel in Camden. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's like a famous pasta. We've still got them as clients now, even since when we started. So to advertise for example, the dog grooming business, that in itself, they've moved their business to a subscription model, because they say that people don't look after their dogs. They want to book them in for an hour, but it hasn't been done for 6 months. So the dog's in there for 3 hours, but they're only paying for the hour. So they moved their business to a subscription model. But again, that, to me, to have a business where I've been having a subscription model for over 10 years, I'm moving on to something like this. This interests me like a tenfold over to be able to build their ads, learn their processes. What does that sale funnel look like? You know, do they go into a consultation before they purchase? Do they, like, things like that really, really excite me. And again, working with like a plumber that fixes electric things outside people's houses for their electric cars. Again, you know, I'm just thinking, I'm going back to the tube, looking at these posters. You know, what would his ad look like? You know, and we can create that ourselves and build his ad for you. And that really excites me, to be working with different niches within different businesses. And so I do believe that obviously it would be the right path for me to do fitness. But again, I would just be I would find myself too involved because I'm a bit OCD and I wouldn't like what they're posting, or they would be delivering the wrong message. And I feel like I need to get away from it for a bit. It doesn't mean that I'm not going to come back to it, but I feel like I need to step back from it.
Yeah, that's more than fair. I hear a lot of people say the same thing. And just before I started my agency, I was selling to estate agents. And because of that, I never outreached a single estate agent within my agency. And you could argue, well, you've just been selling to them for 12 months. You know how to sell to these people. But I was sick of it by that point, and I was like, nah, I'm going to move on to something else. So what's the plan? You got your content off. You're taking someone in on the service delivery side, presumably because you're now quite stretched and your time is you're quite busy on service delivery. What does the next 6 months and then maybe a couple of years look like for the agency? What plans do you have?
I just want to grow it as quickly and as most efficiency, and making sure that we keep. I want everybody to see results. You know, I've been with agency that I could not deliver, and I know that the difficulties of not getting leads to businesses. I've been there, and this is exactly going back to the sunglasses company. This guy, you know, his story, like his wife had cancer, and then he opened this business because he couldn't get time off while his wife had cancer. And I really felt for him, and to be able to help him now really push it. And now he hasn't seen sales, Jordan, in 4 months. Not a single sunglasses. So I bought a pair of sunglasses while I was on this call with him. And the guy's got, I had an order. I'm like, yeah, that's me. And he went, no, you don't have to do that. I went, I want to do that. They're good. So I absolutely love building relationship, building the ads for them. Yeah, it's in terms of the growth of the business, it's just, I won't stop. So whatever, if I have a very, I don't know if you want me to put this in, I have like a very big contract that's going to come up, which I work with somebody now for content creation, which is a consultant business. And she's basically the middle person between the investor and the business. So she sits in the middle and speaks about strategy, sales, all that kind of stuff. So she's got a pool of 35 businesses, all in tech.
Nice.
That she wants to give us 35 businesses
Nice.
to run ads.
How did you build that relationship?
So that's 35K a month in a drop of a hat, you know, which is unbelievable.
Where did that relationship come from?
The gym.
Nice.
Simple. I just said to him, go, listen, I've seen your Instagram. Because I have that military background. I speak like that in my gym, you know, so I'm very cutthroat. You know, if somebody wants to cancel their membership, I'm on the phone. What are you doing? You know, they're like, trying to avoid me. I have that military kind of mindset in the gym. And I've seen your Instagram for your business. It's terrible. You know, it's absolutely terrible. Yeah. Surely you don't get any clients from that. Yeah, she's going, what do you mean? I'm like, well, so who's running it? Who's running that? Oh, we have an agency. They're doing a terrible job. They've reposted everything. They've only done 10 content and replicated it 40 times. It doesn't make sense. You know, you're not speaking to your audience. So then, we took over. We got their clients to come in. We did testimonial videos with them, a bit like this one. And then she starts getting clients directly through Instagram and Facebook when she said, no, our clients are not on Instagram. Well, they were, because now she's got like 12 new clients already. Nice. So it's just purely organic.
Those relationships, they keep coming. And actually you get to a point in the agency, and I think that point is probably around like 50K, 50 to 100K a month. It's all about those relationships. Like so Joe, my business partner in the agency, one of the big parts of our marketing strategy right now, and I'll say too much, is joining high-end events, and so we'll go to other people's high-end events where we'll be around other high-end business owners who, and when you're in those kind of events and you're sat in the same room and you're all mutually learning together, those people, then you all of the in like an education environment or in a seminar style environment, everyone's guard is down because everyone's there for the same communal reason of learning, and so the people there are people in these rooms that you wouldn't ordinarily be able to penetrate. You wouldn't ordinarily be able to get in their circle. But when you're in that environment and all the walls are dropped, it's a free game. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, Joe, Facebook ads. Well, I know this guy and I know this guy. And actually our ads are really shit. And then this guy over here is hearing that. And he's like, oh, you do Facebook ads? Yeah, I do. And everybody knows someone that runs Facebook ads, or everybody knows an agency, right? But there comes a point as an agency owner that it's no longer, and as a large business owner, that it's no longer about the people that send you an email and then DM you or cold call you and so on. There comes a point when you hit a certain level of revenue that you only want to work with people that you personally know, or someone you know personally knows, and therefore that relationship that you're getting these 35 introductions, or someone that Joe's met at a mastermind event is then introducing to 5 different people and signing them all up. They all know other agencies, or they know of other agencies, but they don't know them personally, and they can't piggyback off that trust. And that is so fundamental. And I think there becomes a point in an agency where, and again, I think it's between about 50 and 100K, where you can't really grow without having that as part of a fundamental stage in your business acquisition strategy. You have to be counting on those massive external pillar relationships that are giving you all the referrals. For sure.
Absolutely. There's things now since I've started the agency, I go up to there's a big butcher business by me, and I really would love them as a lead. And I'm just going in there now I travel past 2 of them to get to the 3rd one, because I know your owner of that business is at the 3rd one. So I'm going there just building a porch, just literally just buying steak, because I'm just plotting. I'm just trying to build that relationship up, and eventually then I'll just hit them. Who's running your socials? How are you advertising for this online? You've got a new online shop. So how are you advertising for this? That will come, but right now it's a case of stop at the butcher, stop at the osteopath. Gavin, how are you? Great to see you. And again, I'm just building rapport with people. And I have good intentions to hopefully get them as clients in the future. But yeah, I like what you just said about networking. You can't get anything more powerful than getting yourself out there. And like I just said, just walking along your shops and trying to build a relationship with people it's exactly the same as the gym, right? I've made sure that I know absolutely everybody. We just had a new staff member join us about a year ago. He's a very good trainer, but that's all he is. He doesn't get personal with the members. So I'm always trying to get him out of his comfort zone and go, you can't wait to warm up to your client. You should be already warmed up to your client. That's your client. She's paying for a service. You can't wait. You need to be warm. You need to be there for them. So the next time I come in, and every time I come in now, if somebody knew and go, that's Gemma, isn't it? And he goes, yeah. What does she do for work? Where does she live? She got kids? She's married. I wouldn't, because again, it's building that rapport. And because I've built that rapport so well, Jordan, if you were my client and go, you went away recently. I've seen it on your Instagram. Just little touches like that goes a long way with clients. So yeah, you can't not do enough building rapport. And I just don't think when I was watching the academy, when I was going through door to door on your video, that excites me more than the outreach, because I'd just rather get myself out there and just get to know people and get in front of people, and make it so natural at the beginning, so you can start build that relationship. So you're in that position and go, do you know what, Jordan, I could help you here. Instead of going, have you thought about this?
I genuinely believe that the door-to-door thing is one of the, if not the most proactive and beneficial things that a new start agency owner could do. And it used to be, it's funny because if I spoke about this on the channel 12 or let's say 12 months ago, people would be like, door to door, this guy's crazy, I'm not listening to what he has to say. But it's been a gradual process, even just getting people to understand how important cold calling is. I spoke about it, and in a sea of everyone else who's like, you don't have to cold call to get clients, you can just send emails, you can just send DMs, because everyone's selling bullshit. And then it's hard enough to get that message across that cold calling is important, and doing all these live cold calling videos at the Renault Reach series proving it. And I'm like, do you believe me? Cold calling works now. Everyone's like, okay, cool, yeah, cold calling works. Door to door is the ultimate. Door to door is, and many people will be watching this thinking, there's no way I'm going door to door around my local clients. That is the exact same reason that you should do it, because it scares the shit out of you. It's super intimidating initially. Like, if you throw yourself back to, I mean, you might have been okay having the military thing, but certainly for me, when I was doing my first door to door, it was pretty nerve wracking. Like, especially selling to real estate agents, you had like 20 people that are all trained salespeople. You're walking through the door, and it's all like 25 to 35-year-old guys, and they're grilling you from the minute you walk in. And I was like some skinny 21-year-old or 22-year-old, like taking an absolute pasting. But then over time, you start to give a little throwback, and then another throwback, and they're grilling you, but you have to give the professional throwback, which is actually just an objection handle. And so over time, you just get really, really good at it. Now, I'm not saying, for anyone watching this, that you walk into your local restaurant and the restaurant owner is going to grill you. That's very unlikely. But know that it is going to build your character more than anything. It's going to build your resilience more than anything. It's going to push you out of your comfort zone. And you're probably going to get a meeting with 25% of the people that you actually speak to. It's like that effective. So yeah, it's such a big one. And just everyone overlooks it. Like, there's so much opportunity around everyone who wants to start an agency. But just the way most people are built is to avoid anything that it overexerts. That I mean, you see that in the gym, right? Most people that start don't stay. I tried to think what the lifetime value was. I imagine like 3 months or something like that retention. That'd be interesting to know, actually. How long on average does someone stay in the gym if they sign up to the gym?
Well, we've done very well last year. So we lost 30 members in the whole 12 months last year,
Oh, okay, fair.
which is 3.7%. So again, it's about building that rapport. Decent. You know, we do 6 weeks, we do a social, everybody has to come. And that's the kind of that military mindset that I bring to the military and go, what are you doing Friday?
Is it like a boot camp gym?
No. It's very bougie. So we do small group personal training. So we have personal training from
That's
6
why
in
the
morning.
LTV is so high, though.
Yeah, huge. Yeah. So we charge an average between 365 and 500 a month. So we charge quite high. But again, in terms of the freedom that the client gets, we have a session from 6 in the morning all the way through till 8 o'clock in the evening. So every single hour, 7 days a week. Instead of doing a personal trainer and messaging a personal trainer, when are you free to train? There's none of that.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I imagine in a commercial gym where it's just like a pure gym, though, I imagine the membership kind of terms are a lot shorter. I suppose what you're doing in the gym world is what I'm doing in the academy. We're boutique, we have the classes, we have the coaching, we keep people in, and when you're in, you've got to go ahead and do the work. We don't just chuck you 100%. In on a course and let you do it all yourself.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. And then what you just said then in terms of there was, like you just said about experience, about going to, it's daunting. It happened to me over chance. When I started, literally in December, we actually didn't do anything apart from watching your videos the whole of January. And my partner saying to me, are you going to come to bed? And I'm in my office going, I literally watched your video, which was like 6 hours long. I broke it into 3 days. I said, I'm going to do 2 hours, the Renault Reach. And I did 2 hours and I did 2 hours again. And I'm going, can't be that easy, surely. And then when you get on the phone at the end of it and you're starting to close, you're just like, wow. Fantastic. But we went to Top Golf, and we were on our way back, and my partner wanted bubble tea. She loves bubble tea, and then there was a new shop that's just opened down the road from us. So we went in there about 7 o'clock in the evening, and like I said to you before, I love everything to do with branding, anything to do with how things are selling and how people are saying it, etc. And this guy had a beautiful setup for this bubble tea. It was just called Bubble, and I'm thinking, surely this is definitely a franchise. I had brilliant, and I was literally looking for the branding, and I said, this is a franchise. And he went, no, it's mine. And I was like, wow, that was very good branding. My partner jumped in without even, this wasn't staged, going, oh, sorry, he owns a marketing agency. Our client now. Literally, nice. Off the off chance of me just liking their branding, them asking that question of franchising. So it can be so natural, instead of going, who's doing this for your business? Who's doing that for your business? Again, I would build rapport for at least 2 to 3 weeks and just have a list next to your outreaches of what business do I need to go to what week. So then you can continue to build that rapport up. So I think rapport built sells.
100%. It is. It is. It's like the more this industry develops, like it used to be the case when I first started, that when I went into like a local restaurant, I was selling something that they hadn't heard of before. Like Facebook ads was like, oh, it's that social media thing that people are talking about. That sounds great. And then you talk about the advertisement on there, and then you could blow people's mind. It was a shiny object. But now, as people are more solution aware, it is so little about the actual product itself, and it's about the product and the service after you sign someone, but the whole pre-sale process is just all about relation. It's all about trust. I did the same thing that you said about the bubble tea, but when I was getting a hair transplant, I was sat there getting it done, and I was talking to him about the business, and again, because I'm genuinely interested about business, so like I want to know about the company, and I'm not asking him questions. And I didn't really, and he was just a surgeon, but I was just kind of, and he seemed to know a lot about the business. I was like, oh, this is interesting. He knows quite a lot. And turned out he was the business owner, he was the surgeon, the co-owner. But I was just asking questions about like how many people they get in, and like how many people convert, and so on. And I'd already started the agency, and it was like I was just building a wealth of knowledge. And then it just naturally, over this time of having a genuine conversation, I just built enough trust to be able to ask them, like, what are you doing as far as ads at the moment? Have you tried ads? No, we've never done that. We don't know anyone that can. We'd be interested in looking into it. Oh, well, I actually own an agency. And then it's the perfect setup. And we signed them up. And they were our, at the time, highest paying client. We had them on $3,000 a month. And beforehand, we were just getting like 1K a month clients. So it was massive for us. And we got them some really great results. And that all came with all of the best clients I've had have come off the back of just really, really solid relationships. And I think many people are afraid to get really deep in relation with their clients, or maybe they don't know how to get deep in relation with their clients. And I think it's because they, from a positioning perspective, see their clients as so much further ahead than them. They see them as, because they're a new start business owner and the client is an established business owner, they feel inferior to that client, and so therefore they don't feel like they have the ability to build a strong relationship. But what they don't realize is if they just change that little perspective, the client doesn't feel that way. The client feels like you're above them, right? The client is like, this is the expert. But if you internally can change that perspective, and that's something that comes with time and conviction and so on. But if you had the ability, even as a complete beginner, if you, in theory, right now, you could be 16 years old, if you had enough confidence within you to convince yourself that you're an expert and you hold the keys to change these business owners' lives, you would be able to build such an incredible agency so quickly. And it really is just that little trigger. And I think for most people, they listen to that and they're like, okay, well, that's all well and good, but I don't have that, so I'm not going to bother trying. And so they have to build that conviction over a long period of time through working with clients and getting them results. And it takes like 6 to 12 months, and it's finally like, aha, if I just did this from day one. But people like you and I had to eat shit when we were cold calling in previous roles. You know, I did that in jobs, you've done that in your gym. And then we learn over that period that it's all about perception. It's all about relationships. It's all about like attention and trust and so on. And when you have those fundamental communication skills, which I think are the best skills that you could have on the planet, I would choose communication skill. I would rather have an IQ of 10, but be able to communicate with people incredibly well, than be hyper intelligent. That's why lots of the people that we go to school with, right, that are hyper intelligent in all the top sets, they're not really doing a lot in life now. They don't have the best jobs or the best careers, or they're not getting fully what they want, at least from my experience. And I think that's because those people who are hyper intelligent, in many cases, it's very rare that you're hyper intelligent and also really good at communicational skills. And this communicational skills will propel you so much further forward than any kind of intelligence will in business, and especially in this business model.
Yeah, what's very good about even at the academy level, in terms of the rapport that the people are building, in terms of ringing a bell. You know, I look at it as a sense of like military. It's like an academy full of little soldiers. You know, they just constantly just grafting. Within 20 claws, I'll ring the bell. And I was speaking to one of the guys that was on the academy, just on the messenger, and you know, he's like yet to have I said that I need to learn ads, and he was messaging me back, I need to get leads. You know, but the thing is, he just keeps going. And I just seen a post from him the other day, ringing the bell. I got 2 clients in one. And I'm like,
nice.
You know, it works. You just have to keep pushing through it.
It's nice, man. There's like sometimes you wake up and there's like four ring the bells in the academy in one day, and it's like
Yeah.
that's awesome. It's only going to keep getting better. We've got Academy 4.0 coming in like a month's time as well. On that note, like how have you found things from your end? What do you think has been the most helpful aspect of the program for yourself?
Um, to be honest, all of it. All of it. The only thing I need to do is just step away from it, because once I start one video, I just literally started the first day. I was on the phone with Connor. He signed me up. We was having a chat because he was in the military. I was in the military.
Fine, fine.
And then I was literally started at 9 in the morning, and I didn't get off until like 9 o'clock at night. Just literally just stood there, just going through absolutely everything. My partner's going, "Are you going to absorb this?" Absolutely. I'm going to absorb it. So yeah, it's been. I think, to be honest, and I'm not just saying this because it's getting advertised or anything like that, or you're going to use it in future, but it's if you want to start open a marketing agency, there's not I don't think there's any competition. Is there? There's everything that you need to learn is on there, from like even the basic. Even when I was going through onboarding, like how simple you've made the onboarding for a client on a Notion, I was going, priceless. Priceless. Something that would take somebody 2 or 3 days to set up or get it right. You could have easily, literally, just not do that and just had a Word document going, do this, 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 and that. But you've gone obviously out your way and built it, and it's been fantastic for us to even get our clients onto the onboarding. But yeah, it's fantastic. 100%. I've got 2 people that's going to sign up for this already. I've got
Nice,
one
man.
that owns a gym that wants to move on to marketing, and I've got somebody that's in marketing that's not doing well, and I've been going. She's a client, and she's had a marketing agency for as long as I know, and since I said I'm going to start an agency, and every time I see her in the gym now and go, and she went, "I've been really busy." I'm like, "You've got no clients. You don't know what you're doing." Because she said, all right, because you're doing well. You've had all this database already, blah, 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 blah. But again, she's like, "How are you doing this?" So I'm like, I'll show you what I'm doing. So I've shared you
Nice.
guys to my friend in the gym that's exiting his gym and wanting to move into marketing. And so one of my clients that's in marketing that hasn't really seen any success from doing it.
Nice, man. I love that. Well, I appreciate it. And if you've been loving the academy, I've got something else coming in literally a couple of weeks' time that I've been working on for about 12 months. So I'll reach out to you about that on a side note, because that's gonna blow your mind. And it's probably actually perfect for you in the position that you're in the agency right now, because it's only actually suitable for existing agencies. Awesome, man. Look, what would you say, just like rounding this up, what would you say is some of your best advice, having gone through this process and it's still being very raw, to anyone who's watching this that is yet to get their first 10K month in their agency?
Like there's nothing's easy, right? Like nothing's going to happen overnight. You see all these things, distractions on Instagram of somebody that's doing crypto or something that's doing this or somebody that's doing that. They didn't. That nobody makes money easily. Like with obviously, I've been quite fortunate. We literally been open for 3 months, and when I say 3 months, we haven't even finished our website yet. We're over 10,000, but I had the database to get it to where I need to be. But I didn't know I didn't have a clue what I was doing. It was a dream. So to have this academy is absolutely amazing. But you just have to keep your head down and keep pushing forward, and you have to think yourself in that 6 months where you want to be. And well, this is the way I work. I know what I want to be in the next 6 months, and I just work backwards from there. I just put in the worst results that I could possibly achieve. So if I ring 300 companies and I get one client in a week, I'm winning, because I know what my end goal is. So it's about not where you are now, is where you're going to speak to your future self. What would they say?
Nice.
So yeah.
I love that, man. There's really interesting what you just said about setting your worst goal, because then if you're setting something that's like, this is the worst case scenario, and you're basing your goals around that, then you don't get disappointed. But also, like, most people massively overestimate their goals. They're like, oh well, I'll reach out to, I'll call 50 companies a day. Now I could do 100 cold calls a day and not burn out, and I could do that for months on end. Most people will commit to 50 and then only do 20, right? But if you just say, right, the worst, this is the least I'm going to do, the absolute minimum, And you set maybe a parameter. It's like, I'm going to do the worst case scenario is I acquire this many clients per month by doing this many calls per day. Best case scenario is this, and you're somewhere in the middle. Then you're always going to achieve what you want to achieve. I think that's a really interesting perspective.
One of my biggest thing here is that the reason why I wanted to step into marketing, I feel very tied down. You know, in the military, I was flying to Bosnia, Kosovo, Iraq, Afghanistan. You know, I was always on the move. I feel like here, since I've had the business, I feel like it's sitting on my shoulders and it's pushing me down. So my goal from this agency was to get to 6 figures, but I'm able to do it from anywhere in the world. And like I said to you, our interview yesterday with the lady, she's going to come on board and do the service side for us. And I said to her, are we going to have an office? Absolutely not. If you ring me up and tell me you're in California next week, don't care. As long as you can do your job. Because that's what I want to do. I want to be able to just, you know, my partner's from Australia. She owns a Pilates studio. So we're very much not ever seeing each other. And this is, well, not just me, this is her as well. And this is exactly what we want. We want the financial freedom, not just the financial. And like you just said, £10,000 a month is, even if you give yourself 10 months to do it and go 1 client a month and you did 4,000 outreaches, it's going to be better than sitting in a job and being employed, building their dream instead of their own, right?
Yeah, 100%.
So, yeah.
100%. Love it. Jay, this has been awesome, man. If people want to follow your journey and just see how you get on, because I've got a feeling you'll be flying in another 6 months' time, where would be the best platforms for people to check you out on? I'll see if I can put some links in the description.
On brand marketing agency. That's what we are on Instagram.
Nice. I'll get some links. All right, man. Guys, I hope you enjoyed it. I'll speak to you soon.